Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Baldr Sky, Dive 1. So I just came back from the gym and ate some food, as per usual. The gym has been going pretty great for me. I've been upping my calories. I've been upping my calories for, I think, the past year or something. I went from 65 kilos to 72, 73. So quite a big jump in my weight. But I've been pretty much kind of enjoying the process though. It kind of sucks that I'm not really looking at the mirror and be like, damn, where's my six-pack? But I am enjoying the high body fat percentage life. I say high body fat percent, but I'm probably about 20 to 22% right now. Definitely not around 30 plus or maybe even 40 back when I was fat in 2020. Or was it 2019? Probably about 2019 to 2020 before I started exercising. But yeah, without further ado, let's just talk about the last episode recap, shall we? I still have my, my gamepad here. But yeah, on the last episode, we finished off chapter 2. We went to see an underground doctor kinda girl, which is called Noi. She's the one that used nanomachines to fix our brain chip. And after she administered whatever nanomachine she got, we started going into a flashback and we saw about what happened when we first woke up from that dream. Which is, it actually turns out that the world was already like this. We're learning like engineering. We met up with our, I don't know if this is our best friend, but we met up with Masa, which is probably one of our close friends. And it also introduces a couple of new characters, like say, what's his name? Naoki Kurihara, I think? Like the boss or leader of GU, which is one of the big things that they're trying to do on the news. I think he was developing some sort of new nanomachines that would change something into something else. His example was like, say, change a polluted water into a pure clear water. So it's basically magic, right? And after that, we also got introduced with Nanoha? Was it Nanoha? I don't remember the girl's name, which is our childhood friend. But we lost contact after we got away, or we moved from the previous city, or previous country, I suppose. No, previous city, I'd say. And then we also meet up with the last character on the last episode that we saw, which is Aki. Seems to be our genius cousin. She's probably doing something because we saw in her room, she got a really amazing console. We also got the simulacrum from her room. And at the end, we got taught how to use the simulacrum by Naoki. But yeah, this is exactly after that, and we are in chapter 3, which is still in the flashback, because after we saw the flashback of getting the simulacrum thing, we have a bout with Masa. We woke up, Noi told us about what happened, and then Rain is still waiting there. Forgot to mention, we're also in Rain's route after I chose that option on the first episode. So kind of insane. But yeah, that about sums up what happened on the previous episode, I'd say. And then... oh, what the fuck? Sorry. I don't know why my controller double tapped there. After we parted with Mr. Kurihara, I found Aki waiting to give me a real talking to. She reaches out and lightly smacks me on the head. I mean, yeah, it's not as if she's dumb enough to not know if something is missing from her room. Sure, she's kind of a messy person, but I'm a messy person myself, but that doesn't mean I don't know where the things that are important to me are, you know? Like when people go inside of my room, they'd be like, oh my god, everything is messy. But I know specifically, or I know the general area of where I put specific stuff in the room, even if it might seem messy to other people. That lazy hit didn't hurt my head at all. But it did make me feel the pangs of conscience. Having received my punishment, I obediently hold the cartridge out for Aki. I checked the last recording, by the way, and it does turn out that this microphone is just so much better in blocking external noise, because you guys did not hear, or at least in my ears, I did not hear the grinder at all, and I'm using headphones. So, yeah, amazing. Instead of keep it, she said ageru, which is I'll give it to you. Instead of taking it, she shakes her head.
でも、これを持ち出したからお説教なんでしょ？
黙って持ち出したからお説教。入寮祝いにプレゼントしたかったのに。
I was gonna say, I forgot to mention that we got attacked by an anti-AI sort of, like, what do you call those? Aggressors, I guess? But I feel like they're really stupid. Maybe they're not necessarily terrorists just yet. Maybe the anti-AI guys are not as... I don't know. I'll need to understand the world a bit more before I make specific speculations about, you know, about everything that's going on. Because I was gonna say that maybe they're not as... they're basically not terrorists just yet. But maybe in the future that we're living, the anti-AI guys and also the alienists are basically toe-to-toe with each other, and they don't mind using even brute force method, right? Because I feel like the anti-AI guys were really stupid. They were fighting the AI, the pro-AI, like Naoki, in his home base instead of just, I don't know, going to this, like, I don't know, like dorm, and then, like I said, just maybe kill them while they're diving. That's really what I would have done, guys. If I was part of the anti-AI group and I was like part of their leader or something, you know, if I have a specific enemy in mind, why would I actually be pulling my punches, right? That's the type of person I am. Only when she says that does a long-forgotten childhood memory resurface.
私がウィザードになったら、コウのシュミクラムを作ってあげる。
そんな大昔の約束、律儀に覚えててくれたのかよ。
Really? You just remembered this? It's not as if we forgot about our memories in this flashback.
私、記憶力は優秀。
The cartridge that felt so dicey before now feels like a valuable treasure, and I grip it tight. Instead of just being happy about it, I'm overcome with all kinds of complicated feelings.
じゃあ、これをカスタマイズしたの、アキネなんだね。
うん。私と寮の先輩たち。
A tinge of sadness appears on Aki's face.
あげるけど、一つ約束。
She suddenly straightens up and gives me a serious look.
政治と宗教には関わらないで。シュミクラムに乗るなら、自分のために、人の大義のためには乗っちゃダメ。
I mean, what if I want to get into politics though? And that's also for myself. I mean, I don't necessarily care about politics, both in the real world or in fiction, for the most part. But you can't really deny that even if you don't care about it, politics at some point is gonna bring you into their mess, right? It's gonna affect you. It's just such a very, you know, the scale of politics is just too big. She continues to stare at me without blinking. That just answered a question I've been wanting to ask all this while.
アキネの先輩たち、この寮の人たちは関わっちゃいけないものに関わったんだね。
She answers with a big nod.
みんなバカ。
I guess that's why their rooms have remained untouched. She's been waiting for them to come back. And now she has me to worry about. She's giving me such a concerned look.
約束する。安心して。俺はシュミクラムが好きなだけで悪いことをしたいわけじゃないんだから。
That's why I answer her with a smile.
私、不安。コウは基本的に熱血。
不安は俺の方だよ。だいたいなんで軍用のカートリッジなんてアキネーが持っているんだよ。
私はエリート。無理しなくてもグレーゾーンで手に入るから改造のベースに使ってみた。
Okay, so she didn't make it from the ground up. She flashes a smug smile and then gets all serious. I guess these things might not be as important as I thought. If you can get them from the gray market. Sure, they might still be restricted to the people of the elite like she said, but it's not as if it's a very classified military item is what I'm trying to say. So it might be applicable or accessible for people who are just rich then.
あのシュミクラムには AI と同じ自己進化ロジックを組み込んでみた。
Okay.
今はコウと同じで青2歳の新米。だけどいつの日かきっと誰にも負けないぐらいに強くなれる。コウもあのシュミクラムも。
So basically, it accumulates experience and then AI is gonna assist me. I think that's what she's trying to say about my simulacrum. Isn't that a bit too OP though?
喋り疲れちゃった。
With a big sigh, she falls to the floor, but maybe it depends if we... I don't know. Not all AI are created the same, right? So it depends on how advanced the AI she implemented on the simulacrum is.
昔より表情が柔らかくなったね。
She smiles at me fondly. She's grown so pretty. A sharp pang runs through my chest, but I reply with a smile.
アキネーこそ柔らかくなりすぎ。なんだいそのグダグダっぷりは。
What's with the sis thing? He didn't say One-chan or anything of the sort.
先輩たち優しかったから。
Still on the floor, she reaches out and puts her hand on my head. It's a warm, nostalgic feeling. If I were a cat, I'd definitely be purring right now.
おかえり、コウ。ずっとコウを待っていた。
I close my eyes, feeling completely at home, and let sleep take over my body. Today was too eventful. It wore me out. And I'm sure I'm in for many more eventful days like this one. Masa and I are back at the arena again today. Simulacrum pilots gather here every day to take part in competitive matches against one another. We've been assigned the entry numbers 779867 and 779868. Those are our IDs for today.
試合開始は2時間後だぜ。ウォーミングアップしておかないとな。
Yeah, so even people in the academy have simulacrums, right? So, as I said, it might not necessarily be the simulacrums that are important when we got the simulacrum in Aki's room. It's the fact that it's a military cartridge one. Because maybe not all simulacrums are from the military. I don't know. We'll see. IDs are one thing, but it normally isn't so easy to get matches assigned to you. But we managed to worm our way into today's schedule on Mr. Kurihara's recommendation. Other than that, one only needs to fulfill two conditions in order to take part in arena matches. Own a simulacrum and be an amateur pilot.
よし、行くぜ、コウ。おう。
We turn toward each other and smack our hands together in a heart high five.
エントリーナンバー779867。試合開始3分前です。
Hentai Prison just came out yesterday, by the way, guys. So if you guys are really not playing any visual novel right now, I highly recommend that. I actually played that back during the Japanese release, and I played that using machine translation, and I still thought it was an amazing game. I already bought it yesterday. But yeah, really fun game. Highly recommended. I'm probably gonna also make a let's play of it, but it's probably already on the recommendation list, I think. Let me check real quick. It might not be. Let's see, hentai prison, hentai prison. Nuki Tashi's here. But surprisingly not hentai prison, okay. I guess I might as well put a couple of my own entries in the visual novel list. But I guess we'll see. I do love hentai prison for sure though. I give it a 10 out of 10.
いよいよアリーナデビューだな。
なんだ、ガキじゃねえか。しかもデビュー戦で俺様と戦う気か?
As soon as I take a deep breath to calm my nerves, my opponent starts talking down to me over the radio.
まあ、臆病風に吹かれて逃げなかったのは褒めてやるがな。
言ってろ。デビュー戦だからって甘く見るなよ。
第138組、位置についてください。
さて、おっ始めるぜ小僧。せいぜい楽しませてくれよな。
Alright, this is gonna be my first time using the controller because last time I wasn't able to get a mock battle, even though it was clearly a battle before we ended the episode, last episode.
おっさんの方こそ秒殺なんかされないでくれよ。
We glare at each other through the face windows and keep talking trash. Alright, give me the setup menu. Wait, what the fuck?
よっしゃ、華々しいデビュー戦勝利や。
That's it? Oh my god. That is so stupid.
参ったぜ。
I still didn't get the fight again. The arena match I dreamt about for so long ends in a matter of minutes, leaving me with an adrenaline high. I want to fight more.
おい、浸ってないで場所を開けろ。イレウスレベルで順番が詰まってんだよ。
Yeah, see, considering how they have a lot of matches like this, and it seems like this is a regulated match, these simulacrums are probably not all that important, to be honest.
ああ、すまん。
It must just be like super expensive. I get driven out of the arena before my victory even sinks in. I find Mr. Korihara waiting for me after my match.
先生、来てくれていたんですか。
推薦した手前ね。デビュー戦にしてはなかなかいい試合だったよ。
ありがとうございます。でも、あっけないというかなんというか、なんだか物足りないですね。
これから何度でも試合はできるさ。まあそんなにすぐには順番は回ってこないだろうが。
そうですね。
The two of us stick around and watch the other matches, and eventually meet up with Masa after he's done.
しかし、あっという間だったな。あっけなさすぎて、なんだか物足りないぜ。
I break out into a smile when he says the exact same thing as me. One has to wait a long time in queue before they get to fight in the arena, but the matches themselves end in a flash. Due to that, people often end up feeling like their thirst hasn't been quenched. Why don't they just have multiple arenas and stuff? You know.
今から申請すれば次の出番は3日後ってとこかな。
Is it really that many people?
もっと戦いたいな。休む間もなく、もっとたくさんの相手と。
I don't think this is the arena in our school though, so there's probably a lot more people signing up in this place. It's probably some sort of tournament place that's open to the public. Just then, a huge cheer breaks out. I look at the wall monitor, which is playing a video of simulacrums fighting one another with some big text overlaid on top.
シュミクラム新人選手権参加募集。
Newbies Impact. Only rookie pirates with fewer than 15 arena matches under their belt can participate. And it's amateurs only, of course.
おい、これって。
Every year, apart from the regular bouts we just took part in, the arena also hosts a major tournament that even attracts big-name sponsors. Most of the famous pilots in the arena tend to be ones who placed very highly in that tournament in the past. Until now, I could only enjoy it as a spectator.
これに出られれば、順番待ちはなくなるよな。勝ち残れば、実力のある相手とも戦えそうだし。
ああ、対戦相手には困らなさそうだ。
それに、学生のうちから名を挙げておいた方が、将来有利になるかもしれないし。
I'm thinking right now, but are most of the pro AI people like second gens? what I'm trying to say is that our only old gen people, like, you know, first gens and previous, like, basically old guys, are the anti-AI. Because I guess there might be like a sympathizer in the in the second gen category, you know, people who are in second gen that's also anti-AI. Maybe they were forced to take the biochip without consent when they got born. I guess we'll see. But it might not be mostly but yeah, it might be mostly just old people. I don't think there's a lot of sympathizers considering most people who are second gens have biochips inside of them.
将来か。でもお前、軍人にだけはならないんだろ？プロにでもなるつもりか？
そりゃそうなんだけど。
Yeah, the only possible workplaces for a simulacrum pilot I can think of are the military, security firms, and mercenary groups. That said, becoming a professional simulacrum fighter is ridiculously difficult too. If I can make a living by piloting a simulacrum, I'd be living the dream. As much as I'm aware that such fantasies don't often work out, I can't help but dream.
どう思います、先生？先生は新人戦は出たんですか？
残念ながら私は新人戦前の試合数が規定を超えていたので出られなかった。でも出てみたかったとは思っているよ。技術は拙いが純粋な熱い心を持った者同士がぶつかり合う新人戦は非常に得るものがあるはずだ。
True, we can probably see who's a budding rookie from this tournament. He's looking at me with a gentle look in his eyes.
でも確かに学生チャンピオンって響きは魅力的だよな。まずやるだけやってみようぜ。面白いじゃないか。出てみようぜ、その大会ってやつに。
With a carefree smile, Masa smacks me on the shoulder. He may have figured out how I was feeling. I feel truly lucky to have such a great friend.
しかし、さすがに大会ともなると賞金も結構なもんがあるな。
We start reading through the announcement.
あ、でもちょっと待て。これって個人戦じゃなくて3人1組のチーム戦だぜ。
Alright, who's gonna join us? Maybe Nano, huh? I doubt that Aki wouldn't have that many fights. Even though, you know, she's not really the hands-on type of person. I'd say she's still able to, or she's already using a simulacrum for quite a decent while.
マジか。
It's nighttime. I visit Aki's room to talk to her about the tournament.
アキネ、起きてる？
I wait for a bit, but there's no reply.
仕方がないな。
This is really where she sleeps, huh? I'm guessing she's either sleeping on the couch there, or I guess on the cushion? There's no way she's sleeping on the cushion, there's just not enough space. There's no bed here. Unsurprisingly, I can hear her sleeping when I entered the room.
アキネ、晩ご飯はどうするんだい？
I reach out to wake her up, but then I notice the neurojack sticking out of her neck.
ああ、だいぶしたまま寝てるのか。
What now? I look around the room while trying to figure out what to do. I wonder if you're like linked on the internet, or if you're linked online, if someone can mess you with your avatar, even though they're not directly in physical contact with you. I guess we'll see. There's definitely a lot of things going on in my head, guys, but it's mostly because we still have no idea what the restrictions are in the world building. That's why a lot of my thinking is probably very far-fetched right now. The dimly lit room is full of expensive equipment. It has LEDs everywhere, which look almost like a bunch of fireflies flying around. Aki spends half the day, every day, cooped up in this room, while she spends the other half sleeping in the living room.
こんな調子でいいのかな。いくら春休み中とはいえ。
I spot one particularly bright LED out of the corner of my eye. I take a closer look and find that it's a neurojack port indicator. There's an empty port right next to the one Aki's using. If I connect to this, I should be able to access the area she's in.
ちょっと潜ってみるか。
I bring out the neurojack.
うわ。
Okay, so you can access areas only through direct connection sometimes. I see. Because we talked about having those portable neurojacks, right? Prior to this, but I guess if you have a... This is basically maybe a LAN cable that goes from another separate place to this place. You know, we basically put a switch on that cable, and then it has multiple neurojack ports. I don't know if you guys know about networking, but I'm not very familiar with networking myself, but that's about as much as I can explain, I guess. It makes sense in my head. One look at the private space is enough to make me cringe. It's like an unholy love child of Dali and manga art. What's Dali? The place has wonky perspective and is filled with bizarre creatures and cyber icons.
飽きねえってば全くメルヘンというかシュールというか
Or maybe this is just a private server that she made for herself. I think that makes a lot more sense, I suppose. Oh, sorry about that. You know what they say about there being a very thin line between genius and insanity? Well, she lives on that line.
ああでもこの部屋
I remember now. This is the virtual room Aki and I used to play in all the time when we lived together as kids.
懐かしいなまだ残ってたんだここ
But a closer look reveals some minor differences. I don't remember the walls having two doors before, and there used to be a lot more stuffed toys lying about. I casually try to open the door closest to me.
鍵がかかってるのか
I then get curious about the other one. Man, it's very hot today, by the way, guys. Oh my god. I don't have the AC on right now. But I do have a fan. But man, it's so hot today. I approach the other door and place a hand on its knob. And then...
あ開いた
I figured this one would be locked too, but it opened easily. In fact, it feels like it opened even before I tried to open it.
いいのかな勝手に入っちゃって
I mean, you already opened it. But Aki might be here, so I gently throw open the door. Behind that door is a massive field with flowers blooming everywhere.
飽きねえいるかい
What's with the flag? Is that a country's flag? I don't know whose though. No reply. I timidly set foot inside.
変なトラップとか仕掛けてないよな
Is that a tanuki at the bottom there? Weird. Why would there be a tanuki? As I walk through the seemingly endless field, I spot a person. And I forget to breathe for a second. There's a girl sitting here. She just stares at my face, her eyes filled with wonder. I'm trying to understand whether... I guess this is an area that can be connected without simulacrums. So there's area that are simulacrums only, and then there's areas with, you know, typical avatars like this. Okay. I'm trying to establish, like, my own connections with the world building in this game, since they're not very specific about what's going on. You'd think that you'd only be able to access the internet with a simulacrum avatar, but no. She's got plump cheeks and perfectly round eyes. Her long silky hair sways in the wind. Damn, she's so pretty. Looking at her makes my heart feel like it's about to explode. But why do I get the feeling I've met her before? Is she really that girl? Doesn't really look like her, but I guess so, if you recall that. Oh. The incident from the other day comes to mind for some reason. Back then, I couldn't get a clear look at the girl's face, but... I muster up the courage to talk to her. She gives me a somewhat skeptical look, but the way she smiles at me at the same time is almost angelic.
君は誰
君は誰
She parrots my question right back at me. Is she an AI? She's got a distinctly clear voice, but one that exudes childish innocence. Can she be an AI though, when she was in the real world? Huh. No. You know what's crazy, guys? This is all a flashback, right? Maybe she might not necessarily even exist, and she's the AI that Aki was talking about that's growing inside of us. That's my crazy like speculation so far. Because in the real world, in this flashback, it's technically not the real world, right? We're recalling the past inside of our biochip.
俺はこう、門倉こう。君の名前は？
So this might not necessarily even be happening
名前
in the past. She places maybe that's also how we got into the routes in this game. Like, you know, even though this is a flashback, depending on what we choose in the flashback, it will affect what happens in the present Ko, right? And he might not be like trusting specific people based on my choices in the past. She places a finger on her lips and looks up at me at the sky with a puzzled look. It's almost like she's trying to recall what the word name means.
名前
Wait, does she not know her own name? That can't be. I nervously await her answer.
寝るな。
Crap, I yelled at her. She stares at me with her eyes open wide.
ごめんごめん。いきなり大きな声を出しちゃって。
I don't think she was sleeping. She said cool.
驚かせたり怖がらせるつもりはなかったんだ。ただ名前が知りたかっただけで。言葉通じているのかな。
She smiles at me with a troubled look. A bashful smile. That means I am getting through to her, right? I breathe a sigh of relief, and when I do, a strange happiness swells up inside of me. Weird. We look at each other and laugh for no reason. The tension in the air is long gone. I feel completely at ease.
何笑ってるんだ俺。
こら
Is she like affecting my brain? I suddenly hear an angry voice and turn around cautiously. Standing there is Aki, glaring at me with displeasure apparent in her eyes.
あ、なんだアキネ。いや、
Oh, sorry about that.
プライバシー侵害
ごめんアキネ。謝るから。耳もげる。ちぎれる。
目的はどうやってここに入った？
いや、単にアキネを起こしに来たんだけど、そしたら扉が開いて。
鍵は？
いや、こっちはかかってなかったけど。それよりアキネ、質問が。
却下。
いや、だからここって昔のあの部屋だよね。この草原はなかったけど。この子、アキネの知り合い？
そんなところ。
Man, that skirt is very short. That's the first thing that I realized. She also looks very young, probably about Nanoha's age. Maybe a year younger, maybe 2 years, I don't know. But she looks very young.
ここに連れてくるような友達がちゃんといたんだね。
こう、それ傷つく。
ごめんごめん。でも友達なら今度マサとかナノハとかにも紹介してあげようよ。
それはダメ。
なんでさ？
秘密。
What is? It certainly did look like she locked this space to keep people out. A romantic secret space. 2 young girls. Could it be? Crap, my imagination went into overdrive there.
アキネ。
この子気に入った？こう。
あ、いや、確かに可愛い子だと思うけど。
I don't really think I like any of the girls so far. Well, design-wise, I probably do like her.
なんだよ、急に。
だったら、こうはここに入ってもか。この子の友達になってあげて。
Yeah, she's probably an AI.
少し訳あって、この子は少し幼い。いろいろ教えてあげてくれると嬉しい。
Looking at Aki's expression, I feel like I shouldn't pry too much. Not like I mind being her friend anyway. Aki suddenly manifests a keyboard in midair and starts typing.
これでいつでもここに入れる。この子と面会可能。
いいの？
その代わりみんなには内緒。勝手に入ったら自慢のトラップが満載。
ああ、わかった。
約束だからね。
With those words, Aki vanishes into thin air, leaving the two of us alone. In the end, I couldn't figure anything out. While I'm scratching my head in disbelief, the girl peers into my face. I wonder why I'm actually feeling like I'm way smarter than Ko, even though he's the one living in this world with, you know, all this high-tech stuff. I feel like he's not that smart.
こんにちは。
I lower my head and she follows suit and gives me a bow of her own.
少し話がしたいんだけど、いいかな？
話？
うん。嫌じゃなかったらだけど。
嫌じゃなかったら？
Again, she parrots my words with a puzzled look. Maybe she doesn't understand what I'm saying after all. You don't understand just how difficult Japanese is. If she really doesn't understand, she wouldn't be saying exactly what you just said. Welp, I can't get anything out of her like this. But she really is adorable. She's got this pure, innocent aura to her. I end up gazing at her. She suddenly looks away.
どうしたの？
No response. Did I creep her out by staring too much? But she's smiling, and I notice her cheeks are beet red. Why would she be shy? She really shouldn't understand the emotion of shyness yet.
そっか。恥ずかしいのか。
恥ずかしい。
Muttering that, she puts a hand on her cheek to check.
恥ずかしい。
She then places her hands on her chest and says that, almost like she's confirming how she feels. I suddenly feel some mature vibes from her, and my heart skips a beat. Ko, isn't it very, very easy to guess that she might be some sort of AI who's just created? Like, come on, her behavior is way too strange right now.
参ったな。
Are you just focusing on the exterior instead of the interior? Now it's my turn to get embarrassed and hide my face. She approaches me and peers into my face from up close, her eyes full of curiosity.
恥ずかしい？
She's asking me, isn't she?
うん。恥ずかしいけど、ちょっと嬉しいかも。
I give her a straight answer without thinking. As if to say she feels the same way, the girl flashes a dazzling smile. Alright, guess that's the end of the flashback. My head's pounding like crazy. I wake up feeling terrible, and a familiar voice calls out to me from the side.
どうした？頭が痛むのか？
先生、俺は。
I might be presumptuous though. Maybe in the other route we might not even be having these flashbacks. Oh right, yesterday I was treated at this shady clinic and went to sleep right after that.
記憶が混乱しているようだな。あるいは心理的なブロックがかかっているのかもしれん。
心理的なブロックってどういうことですか？
例えば記憶の順番が著しく前後していたり、その記憶がトラウマだったりする場合だ。
トラウマですか？そんな雰囲気の夢じゃなかったけどな。
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of those people that understand that trauma is a real thing, but at some point you gotta face your fears, guys. Whatever it is that's haunting you, you gotta look at it straight in the face.
まあそのような症状も記憶が戻ってくれば収まるようになる。鎮静剤が必要かね。
いえ。
My headache went away while talking to Noi. I think back to the flashback I just had.
青春の夢だったよな。
A dream about my time as a student. I remember it faintly. No, I guess I should say I recalled it now. Contacting my friends and acquaintances from back then could serve as a catalyst for regaining more of my memories, couldn't it?
ツールキットを展開。
My toolkit menu is filled with icons I don't recognize. My favorites from my school days are nowhere to be found.
まるで他人の持ち物だ。ドキュメントが欲しいところだな。
I guess the toolkit is something like, that thing that we can materialize inside of our brain chip that runs software and shit. Complaining to myself, I sift through the pile of tools and finally find a mailbox icon.
知ってるやつは。くそ、なんでこんなことに。
I see Aki's name and Masa's, but nobody else I'm familiar with. Why? There are a bunch of unread emails. My agent program has marked one of them as a max priority.
優先度最大。なんだ。
When I open the email, a middle-aged man's face appears in front of me.
よ注意俺だよ俺
He didn't say Eddie, she said like, it's me. He did call us Lieutenant. He has a mohawk and is wearing mirror shades. The countless cyber items dangling from his frail body clearly show that he's a wirehead. Wirehead? What does that mean?
なんだこいつ。俺はこんなうさんくさいやつとも知り合いだったのか。
I mean, he's probably an information broker.
注意の推測ビンゴだってすげえねいやマジさすがもうちょい詳しいことを掴んだらまた連絡すっからよこいつはどでかいスキャンダルになりそうだうまいこと言ったらまたいっぱいおごってくれよな注意だな
The message finishes playing, and everything around me falls silent once again. I don't know how I'd be if I have amnesia, guys. But as I currently am, I'd probably feel like the current me is already dead. So I would want the me that has amnesia to not really care about, the memories that are ingrained in this body. That's how I really feel, to be honest. But maybe when I'm lost my memories, I'm probably going to think differently.
俺の推測が当たっていた？
Who the heck is this guy? What the hell is he talking about? Would Rain know?
レインはどこ行ったんですか？
さあな、外の空気でも吸っているのではないかね。
You don't have her contact in that list? Thankfully, I find her standing right outside the clinic.
レイ
I try to call out to her, but stop myself. She's wearily looking up at the cloudy sky. Her expression shows no sign of her usual cool and sharp demeanor. Her lips move slightly, and she whispers something to herself. I'm too far away to catch it. At the same time, she brings something out from inside her shirt and holds it tight. It's glimmering in the light, so it's probably some kind of metal accessory. Rain closes her eyes and brings her hands together, almost as though she's praying. I think I just saw something run down her cheek. I probably shouldn't go talk to her right now. I'll head back inside and wait for her to return. I re-enter the clinic and find it empty. Looks like Noi ran off somewhere. I can't stop thinking about that earlier email. If she really didn't want me to see that, she would have gone somewhere where it's clearly not easy for me to spot her. Man, I am so... I feel like I'm one of those guys who's way too over-cautious about everything, guys. I have a feeling she wants us to see that scene. Am I a psychopath for thinking that way? I don't think so. What did he mean? My guess was right on the money. What in the world was I guessing? That's when the door opens and a shapely figure enters the room.
注意。
ああ、レイン。おかえり。
もうこんな時間だったのですね。すみません。お目覚めの時、そばにいなくて。
召使いじゃないんだから。
私には今のコウさんを保護する義務があります。それに私はあなた直属の部下ですから。
She's gone back to wearing that stiff smile again.
すまない。苦労ばかりかけて。
She laughs at me a little.
申し訳ありません。つい以前の注意と同じことをおっしゃるので、苦労をかけてすまんと。
俺昔からレインに苦労をかけっぱなしなんだな。
コウさん、 あれから何か思い出されましたか？
学園時代のことはいろいろとね。ああ、それよりこのメールを見てくれないか。
メールですか？
I forward that email to her.
この男に心当たりはない？
コウさんが懇意にしていた情報屋じゃないでしょうか。私には面識がありませんが、調べてみます。
Rain's eyes space out and regain their focus a few seconds later. She turns to me to report her findings.
レディー・オルドラ、通称スマック・ジャック・エディ。
Okay, interesting name.
ハッキングなどで得た機密情報を高額で売りつける情報屋です。リアルの居場所は不明ですが、ネットならコンタクトできそうです。
俺はこの男に何かを探らせていたってことか。
I mean, considering how he was talking to you, you seem to be in good terms.
おそらくは。注意。もうしばらく記憶測候処置を受けた後からにしませんか？
でも情報屋から話を聞くことで何か思い出すかもしれない。場所を教えてくれないか？
わかりました。
Rain gives in and forwards me an address.
彼が潜伏しているのはアノニマスシティです。
So this is where we're gonna call him out? We're still in chapter 3. Before I can even blink, we arrive in an unfamiliar space. Okay, so this is an address, so this is an online space. A massive gray structure with its filthy walls covered in graffiti. The sky texture is gleaming in a bizarre color.
警告。ここはリミッターの影響範囲内のエリアです。ここで発生するいかなる事態に対しても当局は関知いたしません。
I find it very weird that the government does not apply limiters to every space. Isn't this a very bad thing? Shouldn't they be controlling all of this? So this is Anonymous City. I look it up using a data link. Nobody knows where the city came from. Or well, it's more like it's impossible to identify one particular source. Maybe this is something like the deep web, I guess. If you were to compare it to our world, right? That's because countless underground communities that date back to the previous century created this place as they merged, disbanded, and increased in number over the years. It runs on extra bandwidth stolen from the AI network and rerouted through innumerable threads, so nobody can shut it down. There's no map of the city, because it's in a constant process of tearing down and rebuilding. The people living here place no importance on individual names, so there's no resident database either. That's Anonymous City in a nutshell, also known as the internet's garbage dump.
注意。やはりここは危険です。私一人でエディに接触します。
俺だけのこのこ引き返せって。でもエディと直接連絡取ってたのは俺なんだし。
そんな男に頼むのではなく、もう少し私を頼ってくださればいいのです。
ああ、気をつけるよ。
I mean, the reason why I did this to him instead of you means that he's a lot more useful in this area than you, Raina. I want to tell her to direct her complaints to my past self, but I control myself.
とにかく俺も行くよ。案内してくれるかな。
いや、変な人に絡まれて無視してください。
After a while, Rain comes to a halt in a corner of the city and points at an avatar door on the surface of the wall.
ここです。
I seriously couldn't tell the difference between any of the places we walked through. But fortunately, it seems like we've made it to our destination without any problems.
ノックでもすればいいのかな。
Rain doesn't respond. She's simply looking down. On the ground is a red puddle. It's still gradually growing in size, and the source seems to be on the other side of the door. Rain takes out a gun and sticks to the wall beside the door. I do the same on the opposite side. Is there really any need to actually, put blood online? I don't understand. Maybe it's to see some, it's to have some visual confirmation that they take damage, maybe? I don't know. Some of the things in this game just don't make sense to me, since this is the online world, what's the need to use blood for?
中には電子体が一名。かなり衰弱している様子ですね。
After whispering that to me, Rain quickly kicks open the door. It opens with a thud, exposing the dark interior. There's a strangely sweet scent drifting in the air along with the stench of blood. There are a bunch of monitors emitting light inside.
スマックジャックエディです。
Rain rushes to a corner of the room where a bloody man is sitting with his back to the wall.
こいつ撃たれたのか。
撃たれたのがつい先ほどのようですね。銃創が4箇所、うち2発が貫通。
注意か。あんた生きてやがったのかよ。
A hoarse voice. His filthy jacket is covered in holes and blood, and I can see his flesh through the holes. What the heck's a wirehead? I want to understand what the hell's a wirehead, but sadly we don't see his sprite. Maybe he's directly connected to the LAN network or something? Is that what a wirehead is? So he's not able to physically move outside of his, like, you know, like cables? What an incredibly realistic sight. It's an indifferent and merciless AI simulation of his body dying in agony. The information broker grasped my collar with great pain.
俺としたことが変なこいたぜ。バレちまって。このざまさ。
You'd think that considering he's an information broker that lives in a non-limiter space, he'd have something to protect himself in the case that he got shot like this. But he does not. Weird. Maybe I'm just overthinking stuff. I feel like a lot of the things in this game are very simplistic at times. Too simplistic.
バレたって誰にだ。おい。
何を言ってやがるんだ。注意。お前に頼まれてしまう。頭いこれつま。兄弟。あんたが生きて俺だけ死。
I take a deep breath and stare at the now unmoving body of Smackjack Eddie. Its type changes from living thing to matter, and it gets disconnected from his body in the real world. That's how internet logic works. Anyone who chooses an online life cannot escape an online death. And having lost his avatar, which contained his mind and soul, his real body will soon die too. I just saw a man die a gruesome death, with my mind shockingly calm. I feel no sadness toward his loss, only overwhelming frustration at how powerless I am. I may only have my memories as a student, but deep down in my heart, in my subconscious, I may already be reverting back to who I used to be. Rain hurriedly connects her neurojack to Eddie's.
何をする気だ。
Maybe we can get the remaining data before it's gone to the void.
生命反応が消えないうちに彼の脳チップからできるだけ情報を抜き出します。
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
危険なんじゃないのか。
Eddie's body starts convulsing out of nowhere, and Rain falls right on top of me.
おい、レイン。
大丈夫です。
What's the risk of it? Does that mean that we're gonna experience the pain that he felt before he died too? Her hand's holding a disconnected neurojack.
びっくりさせないでくれ。
Rain suddenly glares out the door.
どうした？
屋外約150仮想メートルの地点にシュミクラム反応。
Okay, so simulacrums can get to spaces that are, you know, avatar-only spaces? Why aren't we always in simulacrum gear then? I find that weird.
シュミクラムだって。
3機5機まだ来ます。急いでここを出ましょう。
I do as Ren says and jump out the door. Alright, we're fighting them for sure. Search dash. Use search dash by pressing the D button. What is D? I guess button 4 on my controller? Booster enables the use of consecutive search and boost dashes. Boost gauge. Plug in personal unit main gauges. Option boost gauge obtain. Boost gauge. Enemy unit main gauges, blah blah blah. Okay, boost gauge, blah blah, ally. Enemy sub gauges. Boosters and search dash new tutorials are available. No new equipment. I guess we'll take a look at the development real quick. Spin kick. I need to use a lot of those. Well, we haven't really done anything new, so... That's boost dash? Okay, boost dash is actually Y. Oh, okay, interesting. Y is triangle if you guys are familiar with the PS control layout. Okay, so that combo is when I do X, circle, circle, and then square. That's basically the combo that I want to keep using for the most part. You can only boost when you're not moving. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if I would use that too much then, because if you can only boost when you're not moving, that's so weird. It's a very weird mechanic. It's not even for you to dodge then, right? Yeah, and since you always like auto lock on to the enemy, you always go to them. Interesting. Alright, how do I get out of here? Okay, L1. That is such a weird button to use. Let's take a look at the plugin. We got a couple of new stuff. Health block. I don't really think I need health block. Maybe if I go to heart mode later on. But let's take a look at the gauges. The tactical ring. Enemy position. I only have 80 right now, so I don't really have a lot of force too. Wait, why do I only have 1? Huh? Or 8? I thought I have 80. What did I use it on? I forgot. Okay, I only have 8. Let's, I guess, use the tutorials real quick for boosters and search dash, and then we're gonna call it. We're gonna fight. The D button allows you to make use of the numerous special attacks you will gain access as you progress. Okay. A booster is required in order to perform these maneuvers. Okay. This mark represents the number of boosters available. These will recover naturally when your heat gauge is at 0. Do note that they won't recover while in mid-air. Mid-air? I can jump? A surge dash is a special type of dash that consumes 1 booster. By pressing the D button, you can close the distance between yourself and the enemy you are locked onto in an instant. It should prove useful when you wish to engage in close combat. Holding the D button will allow you to determine the distance traveled. Do note, however, that you cannot change your direction. Oh, you can actually... Okay. We've already seen this one, so we don't really need to see it. Let's just get out of here. End tutorial. How do I end tutorial? There we go. That's all I need to see. Alright. Guess we'll save and then let's fight. Game has been auto-saved. So there's a simulacrum and also viruses that are following him. So I'm guessing, yeah, these viruses are actually made by one of the factions of the world. The moment I get outside, I spot a black simulacrum approaching. Simulacrums aren't like viruses, which are nothing but machines. That's a living, breathing human being. I don't care. They're trying to attack us. What does it matter if I kill them too?
シュミクラムをまとえばネットに深入りすることになる。備えよ常に。それを忘れると簡単に死ぬ。
I mean, in the real world too, guys, if someone was clearly like hitting me with the intent to kill me, I would kill them back no problem. And I would probably just say that's self-defense. Mr. Kurihara's voice echoes in my head. They're words I'd heard several years ago now.
確かにたまに死んでるやついるもんな。いたずら気分で深みに潜って。
I stand petrified as the simulacrum gets ever closer.
注意シフト
What does shift mean? I guess shifting means I go to I go to my what do you call this? My what do you call this? My simulacrum form. Yeah, normal actually. Oh, what the? Did she do that? That's pretty nice. The grenade is also not so bad. This guy actually has pretty long range. Yeah, pretty annoying. Okay, is that it? His sword range is basically longer than mine. That's why I keep messing up with the... No, I think it's because I was moving around while I was using X. That's why I kept using the handgun instead of my low kick. I catch my breath and then look at the debris strewn on the ground, finally realizing that I just went through a fight to the death. I fought without thinking about it, but I would have been the one in pieces if I'd lost.
こうさん、大丈夫ですか？
なあ、レイン。
はい。
俺は人を殺したのか？
I mean, yeah. This isn't really something that I'm gonna criticize him, by the way. I personally do not care if I kill a man if it's if they're trying to kill me, as I said. But I guess the average person don't really have the same sort of like mindset as I do. You know, they're more like emotional, they're more empathetic towards other human beings too. I don't feel that. Anonymous City has no limiter, so this wreck lying here is basically the corpse of a pilot.
それにしても、歓声もブーイングもないな。
Duh. Why would there be cheers or boos? You're not a hero, Justice. Or you're not really a villain too. You're just a mercenary. Oh yeah, the fact that I said hero of justice, I forgot the fact that he wanted to be one in the previous episode when we saw the flashback.
こうさん、何を言って。
This isn't like the competitive battles I took part in as a student. An enemy just died right in front of my eyes. I killed him with my own hands.
住人のヤジも飛んでこないんだな。そりゃそうだよな。兵隊の俺が人を殺したって当たり前だもんな。
I mean, even in this world, even if people aren't soldiers, they still kill for fun, Ko. This world is fucked up, as I said. The world isn't as peaceful as you thought it was. That's why I'm not really... I don't really have any empathy towards a lot of other human beings.
畜生。なんで涙の一滴も出ないんだ。
Is that really something to be sad about? I actually like the fact that I'm like this. The fact that I don't really have too much empathy towards other people. My hands aren't trembling and my pulse is perfectly stable. I'm taking this so well in stride that it makes me sick to my stomach. And once I fight that nausea, I then feel empty inside. There wasn't much of a difference between destroying viruses and taking out simulacrums.
なんでもない。忘れてくれ。
注意。
I'll eventually remember how many corpses I piled up as a mercenary. I bet it'll all come naturally to me.
とりあえずここから離れよう、レイン。
やあ。
I guess technically humans aren't really supposed to feel this way, right? The way he's feeling, that's why he kind of doesn't like that feeling. I don't know, I kind of like it though. We leave the combat zone and shift out of our simulacrums.
情報屋から引き抜いたデータはガチガチに暗号化されていますね。
解読に時間がかかりそうなのか？
はい。それに先ほど襲ってきた集団。注意が記憶を失ったあの構造体でも遭遇しています。
何かがつながっているってことか。
All I know right now is that I'm caught up in some kind of massive conspiracy. But I can't tell what it is with my memories in tatters.
はっきりしていることは、情報屋は口封じされたということです。注意。
Her look is tinged with sadness. If I wash my hands of this case right now, I might be able to ensure my own safety. I only caught a glimpse of the darkness I'm diving headfirst into. and it seems to run far deeper than I could ever imagine.
そうだな。
I look up at the sky above Anonymous City. Unlike other structures, this place doesn't seem to simulate the weather. It's just gloomy skies as far as the eye can see.
偽物でもいいから太陽が見たいよ。リアルなやつをさ。
太陽ですか？
ああ。それでちょっとの間気持ちよく日光浴でもして続きを調べるのはその後だ。
いや。
Oh wow, that's the end of the chapter? That was pretty quick. That was basically just the flashback and a fight. I guess we're back in the flashback again. Oh no, we're not in the flashback. I am going to save and see what... Okay. Rain Route Chapter 3 Reunion End. Okay. Ground Zero. I want to see the name on the save data. I wake up to the sight of a white ceiling and the smell of antiseptics. Noise Clinic. Right. We dived from here. As I logged out, a huge number of fragmented memories came flooding into my mind.
兵士か。
I remember all too vividly what happened earlier. I killed a man with my own two hands. To a freelance mercenary like me, it should be second nature. But right now, I don't have the memories of a soldier. I've regressed to when I was a Seishu student. Why the hell did I ever become a soldier? What am I fighting against?
おかえり門倉くん。
あ！ノイ先生。
The surprise face in this game is so weird, man. Considering the serious tone of the game, and then when you look at the sprite, it's like that. I'm like, what the fuck? It's so dumb looking.
おはよう。気分はどうかね？
Was she watching me silently all this while? Rain standing next to her with a surprised look on her face too. I tighten up the pathetic look on my face and reply.
最悪です。ただ
ただ？
不意に頭の中にいろいろな記憶の断片が浮かび上がってきて。
脳内では処置が進行中だからな。何かの拍子に記憶素行が発生しても不思議ではない。
Noi leads me to the treatment room and gives me an explanation while pointing at one of her wall monitors.
君の脳内ではまだナノマシンが活動し、大脳辺縁部、特に海馬へ影響を及ぼし続けている。
What did she say my hippocampus is in Japanese? I actually did not know what she said in Japanese there for hippocampus. Well, give me a second. I think my battery on my controller might be dying, so I might have to charge this soon.
大脳辺縁部、海馬。
Kaiba.
記憶を司る脳の部位ですね。
There are countless tiny machines running around such an important area. The inside of my head starts feeling itchy when I think about that. I recall the scenes that flashed before me earlier. And just like that, I linked one of them to a distant memory. Right. It was soon after Masa and I had moved into the new dorm. I think I was looking for someone to enter the simulacrum tournament with us. I guess we are gonna keep getting more flashbacks.
あと一人必要ってことか。ないよな。そんなあては。
Is it really gonna be that chick that plays soccer?
姉さんとかどうだ？ウィザードなら。
アキネはそんな柄じゃないよ。作る方専門。
そうか。でもチームを組むなら、どうせなら魅力的な女の子がいいよな。
運動神経抜群で容姿端麗。そんな女の子が簡単に見つかるわけが。
どんまいどんまい。さあ、行くよ。
いや、案外すぐ見つかるかもしれないな。
知り合いにいなくても、いるところにはいたりするんだよな。
It's kind of weird though, so the fact that she doesn't have a simulacrum means that we can just give the military cartridge to her, right? But is this really something that we can just give willy-nilly? As I said, it's kind of weird that this cartridge can also be installed into multiple people.
やっぱ気が合うな、俺たち。
We space out and stare at the girl in the field.
胸が大きいのに身軽だよな、あの子。あんなにスリムなのにどうして胸だけあんなに大きいのかな。
That's because this is fake. In the real world, you'd see a flat girl. Or if she's not flat, she's using implants.
胸だけじゃないぞ。お尻も太ももも柔らかそうじゃないか。でも全体を見るとスマート。筋性が取れてるように感じる。不思議だ。まあ出るとこ出てるのに引き締まってるな。不思議だ。
不思議なのはあんたらよ、このスケベ。
Right after I hear that annoyed voice, a ball crashes into my face. I fight the pain and open my eyes to see the devil we were speaking about standing there with her hands on her hips and a soccer ball at her feet.
ちょっといい加減にしなさいよ。黙って聞いてれば、まったくもう。
聞こえてたのか。
She was way out there in the field, in the middle of a game. What kind of ears does she have?
胸だけじゃないぞ。お尻も太ももも柔らかそうじゃないか。
俺そんなよだれ垂らしながらゲヒゲヒ笑いそうな口調だったっけ。
たく、肉肉肉って私は品評会に出される牛かっての。
いや別に肉連呼していないし。
True?
注意されてんのに口答えすんな。
すっげえコントロール。
Is she really using the ball again? This time, it's Masa's turn to be on the receiving end. As the ball bounces back toward her, she traps it neatly with her foot.
毎日毎日そうやって覗いてて、あんたら他にやることないの？
覗きって攻撃が悪いな。
Nozoki, I think, is peep. But I guess in this situation, you can say ogle.
そうそう、道端に綺麗な花が咲いてたら立ち止まって眺めちゃうのが人間じゃない？
Not really. I don't care about flowers.
そりゃそうかもしれないけど。
She's taken aback, and her cheeks turn slightly red. Wow, I didn't know she could make a face like that.
花からすればよだれを垂らした牛に眺められちゃ今にも食べられそうで落ち着かないの。
怖がらなくても別に食べないよ。そりゃ食べていいと言われれば喜んで。
You're kinda creepy, Masa. Kinda got what's coming for you, man. Masa gets taken down by a pile driver.
マサ大丈夫か？
今度来たら股間を蹴っ飛ばしてやるからね。
The girl turns around and starts running back to the field.
ちょっと待ってくれ。実は君に用があって。
I make up my mind and call out to her.
何よ、喧嘩なら買うわよ。
喧嘩？それだ。戦ってみないか？仮装で俺と。
やだ。
She didn't even stop to think about it. But I can't afford to give in yet. So long as I ask with all my heart, I should get through to her.
俺は君を見て直感したんだ。
何よ、いい肉してるって直感したの？
そうじゃない。実は頼みがあるんだ。
I thought he was gonna say that too.
何よ。
俺のパートナーになってくれないか？
あ？
俺は君をずっと見ていたんだ。
Ko, you're sounding like a creep too. Can you be more specific? Yeah, I watch her do her very best out in the field every single day.
やらしい目でじーっと見てたよね。
Any scout who's after her athleticism, it's so hard to say, and beauty would cut right to the chase like so.
君が必要なんだ。ぜひ一緒に来てくれ。いいだろう。
待ってよ、いきなり困るよ、そんな。
悪いようにはしない。決して後悔はさせない。今日は暇かい？いや、いいんだ。今日がダメなら明日でも。
Without thinking, I take her hand in mine. It seems that the burning passion within me took hold of my body.
あのさ、気持ちは嬉しいんだけど、そういうのまだ早いと思うんだ。
She's surprisingly kinda giving us a chance, even though we're being very creepy right now.
いや、時間はあまりないんだ。ことは早ければ早いほどいい。
The registration deadline for the tournament is coming up
い
soon.
や、でもそれにほら、だって私君の名前も知らないし。
ああ、そうだった。すまない。 は門倉こう。ここで倒れてるのが須藤正で。
門倉君、それは分かったけどさ、でもいきなりデートなんてさすがにねえ。
Wait, what? Did she just say date?
お前はよくやった。さあ、帰ろうか。
You idiot, Masa. Masa gets to his feet, gives me a consoling pat on the back, and starts dragging me away.
何、違うの？
シュミクラム大戦の仲間にならないか？
最初からそう言わんか
I go down with a bizarre scream as the ball is driven into my face from point blank range. I somehow get back on my feet, though my legs are all wobbly.
どうかな。
私、仮装は興味ないの。率直に言って嫌いだから。
Oh, she's anti-AI.
きっとそれは食わず嫌いってやつで。
とにかく、私大会が控えてて忙しいの。じゃあね。
Okay, she might be a sympathizer. All we can do is watch the girl turn around and run off.
説得の仕方まずかったな。
まあ、結果はどうあれ、そのクソ真面目なところがお前のいいところだ。
Man, it's so hot today, guys.
ああ、いって思いっきりぶつけやがって。しかし、名前を聞きそびれちまったな。
Oh, that's true.
そんなことより鼻血を拭けよ。
I try to hand him a tissue, but someone offers him a handkerchief first.
これを使いたまえ。
I turn around to see Mr. Kurihara standing there.
先生、どうしてここへ？
大学でセミナーがあったのでね。君たちも学校帰りかい？
あ、はい。
Did he see all that? I'm so embarrassed. I want to hide my face in my hands.
調子はどうかね？趣味クラブの操作には慣れたかな？
ええ、それはただ。
どうしたこう？
本当に俺これでいいんでしょうか？
Something that's been bothering me for a while escapes my lips.
何か悩みでもあるのかね？
趣味クラブで戦うのが楽しくてたまらなく気持ちよくて。
それが問題あるのか？
このまま感覚が麻痺して戦いばかりを求めるようになったら、
Yeah, that's actually a fair thought.
いつかアンダーグラウンドにも踏み込んでしまうんじゃないかって。
今時不妊死理論かこう。その理屈が正しけりゃ、酒を飲んだことのあるやつは全員重度のアル中になってな。
Also a fair point, Masa. Man, Masa, surprisingly, you're not really the idiotic friend archetype as I thought you were. That was a very good retort. Masa sounds his displeasure, which is rather unusual for him.
もっと胸を張って趣味クラブを楽しみたまえ。
Mr. Kurihara speaks calmly.
リミッター付きで競技を行うのとリミッターなしで殺し合うのは違う。格闘家が試合で相手を殴ったり関節を決めたりするからといってそれは相手を壊すためではないだろう。
そうですね、確かに。
無論非道な暴力で挑んでくる者に対して力で対抗しなくてはならない時もあるかもしれないが、
Yeah, if someone is way more aggressive than they should be.
たとえそうであっても君たちは節度を持って戦えるはずだ。自信を持ちたまえ。
I don't really train in martial arts, guys. So, yeah, when someone like comes at me with a knife, I'm just gonna like run away. Yeah, just take anything you want. I still want my life. You know?
はい。
His words are persuasive and filled with warmth. But if I see like an opening, I probably would stab him too. And kill him before he has a chance to do anything else. I feel like I've been freed from the dissatisfaction I've felt ever since my debut match ended. And also from a lingering sense of guilt.
しかしここにいたのはその悩みのせいではないだろう。
He asks with a light tone, trying to get a read on my expression.
あ、はい。実は新人戦のメンバーがまだ見つからなくて。
そうなんですよ。それで誰かいいやつがいないかなって。
それであの子をずっと見ていたのか。
I guess you were here from the very beginning. So you did see all that. All that embarrassment comes back with a vengeance.
いい目の付けどころをしている。 あの子はおそらくシュミクラムに乗っても強い。
へえ、見ただけでわかるもんなんですか？
I mean, probably because simulacrums are basically your own body, right? Even though it is basically virtual, she's able to control her body very well in sports. It's probably gonna carry over to the virtual world.
シュミクラムは肉体の延長だからな。肉体を操作する術に長けた者はシュミクラムに乗っても。
He's not ogling, what the fuck? Wow, a ball crashes into his face before he can finish.
ああもう大の大人まで混じっていい加減見物料取るぞこら。
Hey, come on!
すまない。しかし私は別に。
That was uncalled for.
いいから先生行きましょう。
We grab him by his sleeves and start running as fast as we can. What the fuck?
おはよう門倉こう。
You're my mom? Are you like my artificial intelligence mom because my mom's already dead? A voice echoes in my head. It belongs to Mother, the special AI governing this region. What? Okay, I thought it was my mom's AI, but no. It's a special AI. By using a mere fraction of her processing power, she stays constantly connected to the thousands of Seishu students and faculty while managing the whole academy. Why are you specifically calling me out, though? We call her mom out of affection.
では募集を始めます。よろしいですか？
Oh, oh, that's why. So this is our teacher now? Well, Mr. Naoki is still a teacher, so I guess there are some subjects that only Mother will teach us. In my head, I whisper, yes, Mother, and she begins my classes for today.
コンピュータに知性を持たせること。これは仮想現実と並び、長い間コンピュータに到達すべき目標とされていました。
In Seishu Academy, Mother handles 1/3 of all classes personally, adapting each student's lessons to the progress they show.
半導体ベースから光ベースへのマシンや、ノイマン型から非ノイマン型へ、ビットは量子ビットへと発展し、
I don't know enough about quantum physics to understand what she's talking about. That is definitely an area I'm not very good at. Even back when I was still in high school, my physics scores aren't really the best. Though that also means slow learners like me have to take makeup lessons during spring break.
暴流であった生態ベースのロジックが自己進化的アルゴリズムとの親和性において優位であることが証明され、
Organic-based logic? What does that mean? Sometimes I wonder if we even need human teachers anymore.
こうして機械系と生態系のマシンの間でどちらが先に高い知性を得るかの競争が行われました。これを知性化競争と呼びます。
Why do I even need to study this? Is it because the biochip doesn't have enough, like, storage to store all of this information? Like, why do I even need to learn all of this when I have access to the internet, like, 24/7? I can just Google it up and they would give me a brief summary of what I need to know, right? I don't need to learn this shit. This is weird. As I listen closely to Mother, Masa suddenly pokes at me with his elbow.
おい見ろよ。
Masa motions me to look diagonally in front of us, where there is a ponytailed girl sitting. Isn't that the girl we saw at the field?
ナノテクの進歩に伴い生態ベースのマシンがハードウェアレベルでの自己進化能力を獲得することで、知性化競争は生態ベースマシンの勝利に。
ごめんマザー、少し中断。
了解。
You can do that? What a convenient school.
あの子も補習組だったのか。
ああ、スポーツ特待生でも補習は免除にならないみたいだな。
へえ、スポーツ特待生か。道理でスマートってなんだ？もう名簿を調べたのか？
なあ、もちろん。名前は渚千夏。俺たちと同学年だってさ。
Oh, so that's Chinatsu. We already saw her from the tutorial, by the way. Masa flashes a knowing smile.
やっぱり3人目にはあの子しか考えられないな。
Yeah, she's fascinatingly peppy, although she does seem a bit headstrong and scary. I remember the sight of her looking full of life as she played soccer.
しかしあの子かどうかは置いといても何もそこまで女の子にこだわる必要はないんじゃないのか
True?
戦力的には男の方が
お前は男3人のむさ苦しいチームがいいのか
I mean, I personally don't care, Masa.
いや頑張って女の子を見つけよう
I'm so simple-minded. Most guys are, actually, so I can't really blame them for being like this. Especially when they're still very young.
それでこうあの子に興味あるか
なくはないさ
I give him an honest answer.
そうかよしじゃあお前また口説いてみないか
あ
だからあの千夏って子にさもう一回声かけてみろよ
お前が彼女を狙ってるんじゃないのかよ
パスだパスあのタイプとは俺きっと友達としてなら長続きするけれど付き合えば数日激しく盛り上がった末にくだらない理由で大喧嘩して別れるだろうな
そうか
経験者団伊達に連戦連敗してないぜ
Masa grimaces for a second before encouragingly patting me on the back.
とにかくこうお前もたまには戦え当たって砕けろだ
砕けるのが前提かよ
まあ何事も経験さ安心しろたとえ彼女に敗北しても俺が立ち直り方を伝授してやるから
You're a good friend, Masa. You're a good friend.
でももしも砕けずにうまくいったら彼女の友達を紹介してくれよなあるいは幼馴染かその友達でもいいから
Hey, at least he's not thinking that we will 100% fail this, right?
そうきたか
But I guess that's fine by me. My school life might get even better if I score a girlfriend like her. Wait, what?
あっと待てよ口説くとか言ってもあくまで大会の仲間の3人目としてって話だよな
まあまあいいからいいから俺は別口で探してみるからさ
別口ってお前手伝ってくれないのかよ
バーカ2人がかりで女を口説いてどうすんだよ
別にナンパの話じゃなくてだな
授業中です死後は慎んでください
Mother gives us a warning, and I notice that everyone in class is staring at us. Even the ponytail girl, Chinatsu Nagisa, is looking our way with a look of disbelief on her face.
入学式前ってのに賑やかだよな
うちの連中お祭り好きだからな
The campus is full of people, ranging from the incoming freshman class who are here to check out the place to the existing students who are busy preparing to welcome them.
あ、趣味クラムバカ発見
That's the girl's uniform? The girl's uniform sure looks weird. The fact that it's a one piece instead of, a skirt and a shirt is really weird. Apparently, Chinatsu Nagisa's here too.
奇遇だな俺も今将来の趣味クラムバカを発見したぞ
へえ、あっそ
おいおいそれって誰のこととか聞いてくれよ
私絶対関係ないし
言葉はあれだけどノリはいいねそのツッコミもっと鍛える気ない君俺たちきっといい漫才ができると思うんだよね
あんた引き際を知らなくて振られるタイプでしょ
こうやっぱお前だわ
Masa passes the baton to me. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it though.
いや
何よ
This is do or die time. I pump myself up.
あのさ渚さんこないだの話なんだけど
It's so weird that the localization always uses our full name.
さんはよしてよ渚で結構
あじゃあ俺も門倉でいいから
Don't give in here. Keep going.
ごめんこの前は妙な勘違いさせて悪かっ
別に気にしてないよあんたにデート誘われても嬉しくない
You sure weren't really saying, like body language wasn't really saying that.
たいやだからそれは誤解でデートになんか誘ってなくて
もう本当に失礼ねあんたも
なんで失礼なんだよ。謝ってるじゃないか。
そうじゃないっての。
何怒ってるんだよ。なんだよ、デートした方が良かったのか、誘った方が。
I mean, she was probably flattered that, you know, people wanted to ask her out on a date, I guess.
うるさいな。だからそうじゃなくて。
Nah, you're probably spot on. Huh? Even I'm starting to lose track now. Is she mad because I asked her on a date? Or is she mad because I didn't? Which is it? I mean, these type of girls are usually very annoying to deal with. I personally don't really talk with girls like this who are not very honest with their feelings. A familiar voice calls out to me. I turn around and spot my beloved childhood friend.
あれ、菜の葉来てたのか。
入学手続きのついでに友達と見学に来たんだよ。
Oh, she's done? Holy shit, that was a fast voice line. There are a few young girls in uniform behind Nanoha.
なのは先に手続き済ませちゃおうよ。あ、ちょっと待って、今行くから。
Her voice is kind of familiar too. I don't think I mentioned this on the previous episode when we first met her, but her voice is very familiar. Her voice and Naoki's voice, I gotta take a look once I'm done with Dive 1. Because I'm curious about their voice actors and who else they voice.
先に用事済ませてこいよ。入学したらいくらでも話ができるんだから。
そうだね。
She begins to head back but stops in her tracks like she remembered something.
ああ、お土産持ってきたから明日にでも寮へ持っていくね。大丈夫。今度はすりつぶしてハンバーグに混ぜてあげるから。
Chives with steak? What? Isn't that weird? Don't you usually use onion if you want to make Hamburg steak? With a brief wave of her hand, my beloved childhood friend runs off. She really did join Seishu, huh? I see her off, my heart full of emotion.
なんだよ。
あの子、あんたの彼女？
いや、単なる幼馴染。
あの子は誘ってみたの？
いや、あいつはダメなんだ。
どうして？趣味クラブに乗せてみたわけ？
そうじゃないけど。
It's kind of an embarrassing thing to talk to others about. Well, I'm trying to figure out how. She starts frowning.
よくないな、そういうの。第一、あの子に失礼じゃない。
失礼って何が？
勝手にダメって決めつけるなんてよくないよ。運動なんて要は慣れなんだし。
I mean, that's true. That's true.
あいつはドジで容量良くなくて。いや、そうじゃなくて、それが理由じゃないんだよ。
じゃあ何なのよ。
What, does she have some sort of anime disease illness?
あいつは俺が守ってやらなきゃいけないんだ。
Okay. A lot more affectionate than I thought.
守る？幼馴染を？どうして？
約束したんだよ。俺とあいつは昔いじめられっ子同士で。それで。
I don't know how to say this.
そうなんだ。
But I guess Nagisa took the hint. She smiles at me for the first time.
門倉って悪いやつじゃなさそうね。でも私、今はこっちの大会以外のことに興味ないんだ。
That's fine.
だからごめんね。
The smile she gave me as she left seemed somehow sad. Was she being considerate? She might be a nice girl deep down too.
よ、いいよ。
Masa, who'd been watching from the sidelines all along, returns and pats me on the shoulder.
千夏ちゃんは諦めるか。これ以上迫ったらストーカーになっちまう。
Fair enough.
そうだな。
We started walking with our heads hanging.
門倉公、先日の追試が基準点に達していません。補習を行いますので、直ちに207教室へ。
A voice suddenly rings out in my head.
まだ点数が足りなかったのかよ。どうしたこう、呼び出しだ。
Man, we're pretty trash as a student, huh?
はあ、今日は夕方に対戦だぜ。
わかってる。じゃあ、あっちでな。
I start running to the classroom. My guess is we might not necessarily be having
機械ベ
any
ースと生体ベースのマシン。それぞれに知性
any
を
battles in the
持たせよう
flashback.
という試みのことを知性化競争と呼ぶのは覚えていますね。
はい、マザ
当時 軍と大企業は共同で機械ベースのマシンの究極形態を作り出そうとしていました。ここで作り出されたものがバルドルシステムです。
Okay, what is the Baldr system? Actually name dropping the game.
バルドルは自立成長型推論ネットワークとしてはじめに上海、ハバロフスク、フィラデルフィア、コスタリカ、サウジアラビアの各国に設置されました。
Interesting cities that they set this up on.
さらにその後数台が構築され、そのうち1台は我が国の鈴代市に存在します。
Right, and that Baldr system in Suzushiro was then used for the Renaissance Project. The Renaissance Project conducted research in various fields that would benefit mankind, such as environmental revival and space development, to much success. Environmental revival and space development. Oh, yeah, so what I said on the previous episode might also be true too about how a lot of the nature in this world might be synthetic. My mom was one of the researchers involved until the project was shut down.
門倉光さん、クオリアとは何でしょう？
In the different game, Qualia is basically the soul. I played this game called, what do you call it? No, not Luminous Arc. Stella Glow. They have this thing called the Qualia too there. My train of thought had started to derail, but Mother gets it back on track.
はい。クオリアとは意識体験の具体的な内容のことです。赤いなとか気持ちいいとかそんな感じの。
In the real world, I actually don't know whether there is such a thing as a qualia. The only place I've heard of qualias are only in games.
よろしい。すなわちそれが知性化競争の対象になったもの。自ら考える真の知性というものにあたります。
So technically speaking, it might actually be a soul, huh? Right?
バルドルは大きな期待を寄せられていましたが、結局それは叶いませんでした。
So Mother here lacks a soul.
システム内にクオリアが発生することはなかったのです。一方、バルドルの開発から遅れること数年、一部機関で研究されていた生態をベースとした生物学的
I get that they're actually teaching this to us, the player, by the way, and not necessarily to Ko. Since, as I said, he can literally just Google everything with his mind connected to the cloud.
つまり我々が爆発的な進化を遂げ、いち早くクオリアを獲得しました。
Wait, you do have a qualia? Interesting. Okay, so the Baldr system is made out of mechanical computers while you guys are organic computers? Is that what's going on? Is that what she's trying to say, right?
生物学的 AI は自己改良を続け、わずかな期間でバルドルマシンを超える計算能力を獲得し、やがては量子的な通信手段を自ら内部に生み出したのです。門倉光さん、量子的な通信手段とは何でしょう？
I don't know.
量子の分離不可能性とか不確定原理とかを使って光より早く情報を伝達する方法で。
Quanta, the uncertainty principle. So this is basically the sci-fi part. This thing isn't real.
多くの誤謬が認められますが、まあいいでしょう。今は先に続けましょう。
I'm glad she didn't dwell on that. If she had, I'm sure she would have found even more problems.
やがて我々はバルドルマシンがクオリアに至れないことを拡張されたゲーデルの法則で証明し、その他の理由も重なってバルドルは生物学的 AI にその地位を譲ったのです。
You know, to be completely honest, I used to think that AI would have been a very interesting thing to have, like, you know, your own AI android and stuff. But let's be real, guys. In the real world, if an AI android actually became a thing, the government or the company that started using those would probably try to record everything about your personal data, and they would do everything in their power to make you guys spend money on things that you don't need. You know, basically emotional manipulation is going to be very easy once that becomes a thing. I am not necessarily afraid of it because I know for a fact that I'm not going to be attached to those things. I'm not even attached to humans. But it's pretty sad to think that a lot of people might be attached to things like that, you know? Even though they kind of know that they're being lied to.
現在はバルドルは第一線からは外れ、一部の施設の管理、例えば鈴代市のアーコロジーなどでひっそりと使用されているのみになっています。
What's an arcology? The research endeavor to bestow machines with intelligence. A competition between mechanical and organic computers. That is the intelligence war. And that race was won by organic AI. And Mother is its poster child in the eyes of us Seishu students.
ただし AI に不信感を持つ人々が未だ機械論的 AI を支持しているのはご存知の通りです。
Yeah, in this world, I personally don't think that I would be anti-AI, but I wouldn't be using any sort of AI to help me in my day-to-day life because I just don't trust the people who made the AI, you know? But then again, if the AI in this world has a qualia or their own soul, I don't know. I personally still wouldn't trust that. As I said, I don't even trust humans and we have a soul. Why do you think that I would trust AI that we think have a soul? You know, souls, we can't really see them, right? Why do you think I would trust them? I don't think I will. The anti-AI ideology, a school of thought that considers sentient AI dangerous. The people who call us, who have gotten to know and love AI, alienists. There's a deep rift between the two factions.
また、我々が自己増殖、自己改良できるバイオマシンであることから、我々を単に巨大で狂った脳細胞の塊と呼ぶ者もいます。しかし、それらは無論誤りです。我々を構成する論理、言語といった要素は人間とは異なります。我々と人類はネズミと人以上にかけ離れた存在なのです。我々、私があなたたちとこうして会話をできるのも、我々がクオリアにより異なる知性を解釈した結果、青春は我々とあなたたちが共に相手を学ぶ環境でもあるのです。私はあなたたちを理解したい。そして理解してもらうことを願っています。
Yeah, see, that's something that I don't understand, Mother. I don't really want people to understand me when I talk. I want them to see things from my perspective, sure, but... Maybe it's also a form of understanding. But basically what I want for people to know from, like, you know, when I do these rants is that I'm only giving you guys my opinion, right? Whether or not you guys agree with it, whether or not you guys don't agree with it, I don't care. Like, you guys have your own way of thinking, I have my own way of thinking, right? And it actually doesn't matter whether or not you agree with me or not in my eyes. I don't know what it is to understand something. Well, I understand, or I do know. Sometimes you understand something, but in your heart, you don't agree with what they're doing, right? So, I guess, yeah, maybe I do want people to understand me, Mother. Maybe that is the understanding that she wants too.
はい。
Mother's usually flat tone sounds awfully human right now.
以上で1年度の補習は終了です。おめでとう、門倉光。これであなたは進級の資格を獲得しました。
Man, what an easy class. I don't even have to answer anything. I just listen to a lecture and I get credits. Is this really how the world works? It's not like that when I was studying.
どうもマザー。
When I disconnect my neurojack, I see that the sky outside is dyed in orange twilight.
もうこんな時間か。
I really hope that the education system in the world doesn't work this way, because if so, it's no wonder there's lots of idiots in the world. In a way, Mother's the ideal teacher. She relentlessly keeps up her personal lessons until the student fully understands the topic. If not for that, Masa and I would have been held back for sure. Unlike with human teachers, you can't fool her by pretending to understand. I let out a deep sigh and I get a call from the very next moment.
急げよ。そろそろお前の番だ。
ここから潜るのは気が引けるんだけどな。
I lean back in the console desk and close my eyes. Soon, my match in the arena ends. Yeah, we just skipped the match. And when I log out, my nose feels really ticklish.
なんだこれ。
As I sneeze, dandelion fluff flies out of my nose.
やばい、これすっごいよく飛ぶ。
Shinatsu's sitting next to me, holding her sides in laughter.
あのな、お前の仕業か？
ごめんごめん、つい出来心で。
出来心でダイブ中のやつの鼻にタンポポの花をいけるのか？
She laughs so heartily, I don't even feel like yelling at her anymore. Besides, playing a prank on me just goes to show she's opened up to me somewhat.
今日はグラウンドで練習しなかったのか？
I guess that's a fair way to look at it. I still don't really like being pranked though.
走ってたらマザーに呼び出し食らっちゃってね。
つまり五道杯ってわけだ。
らしいね。
I have a similar experience with a girl back in high school where she's like very touchy-feeling and usually very aggressive. You know, sometimes like kind of slapping your back or whatnot. I really dislike that. With a tiny smile, she gets up really close beside me. The bittersweet scent of her sweat makes my heart race. But yeah, I told her straight to her face and she never did that anymore. But of course, because of my very brutal nature, that also means that she kept her distance after that.
趣味クラブで遊んでたわけ？
Well, I wouldn't say brutal nature, but you know, I was so upfront about her, or about it with her.
ああ、今日は宗教バカと骨が砕けるほど戦ってきた。
骨が砕けそうでもやめられない。そんなに楽しい？趣味クラム戦って。
楽しいから熱中してるのさ。渚だって競い合う楽しさは知ってるだろ？
知ってるし、わかるけど。やっぱ私は自分の体で競い合いたいな。
She lets out a sigh. She says that with a hint of melancholy in her expression.
趣味クラムってさ、動かすのに遺伝子がどうのこうのとか関係あるのかな？
Probably not. I think it has more to do with the fact that we're used to having this brain chip with us, right? At least that's what Mr. Naoki seemed to say. She springs that question on me out of nowhere.
頑張れば普通の人でも努力が報われたりするのかな？
うん、そうだと思うけど。
I mean, everyone gets rewarded if you put in effort in anything. It's just a very slow reward if you don't have the talent for it. Does she have something on her mind?
まあいいじゃん。別にそんなのどうでもさ。
What? Is she saying she doesn't have talent in soccer? That can't be right. She's pretty good at it, right? Or what? Does she want to compete with the guys? I'm not capable of being as thoughtful as Masa, so all I can do is say what's on my mind.
渚は趣味クラブに乗れば強いと思うよ。そう思うからチームに誘ったんだ。
そうかな。
俺の師匠も言ってた。渚みたいな子は趣味クラブでも強いって。
そうなの？どうして？
趣味クラブは肉体の延長だからって。だから運動で自分の手足を扱い慣れてるなら機体も同じように扱えるはずなんだ。
ねえ、そのお師匠さんって人も強いの？
I'd say he's pretty good.
ああ、完全武装の一個分隊を一人で壊滅できるぐらいには。
でもどうせつまらないよ。つまらない男と退屈なデートをしてた方がマシ。
そんなのやってみなくちゃわからないだろ。
わかるよ、それぐらい。
Bro?
絶対わかるもんか。 趣味クラブの経験ないんだろ。
I get all worked up, but Chinatsu surprisingly gleams in response.
そうだ。じゃあ比較のためにつまらない男が退屈なデートに誘ってよ。
What is her aim here? Weird?
あ、デート誘うって誰が誰を？
つまらないあんたが私を。
なんでそうなるんだよ。
Yeah, why would I?
誘ってくれたら趣味クラブに乗ってみる。そしたらどっちが楽しいか比較できるでしょ。
No? You're making no sense, exactly.
何？
Do I get a choice here?
一度は熱っぽく誘ったくせに二度目はあっさり尻込みしちゃうわけ？
Yeah, I don't want to go on a date with you. It's weird.
だからそれは
嫌なの？
スポーツ大会はいいのかよ。
私だって別にスポーツのためだけに生きてるんじゃないよ。
True, but I think that's probably a pretty high priority in your life. This all feels really strange. But now I kind of understand why she got so mad when I apologized earlier.
本当につまんなくてもいいんだな。
空前絶後、究極の退屈さを期待してるから。
I guess he doesn't mind. I probably would mind though. I mean, I care more so about my my own things to do than going on a random date with someone that I clearly have no interest in. Her expressions are as fickle as the weather.
それじゃあ渚さん。
千夏でいいよ。仮にもデートするんだし、堅苦しいのはやめよ。
じゃあ俺もこうってことで。
After that, we exchange contact details, confirm our plans for tomorrow, and then Chinatsu waved goodbye and left the classroom.
大変だ。まさにアドバイスしてもらわないと。
Back to the present we go. Recalling that makes me laugh. That's right, Chinatsu and I suddenly made plans to go on a date soon after getting to know each other. What happened after that? All of these characters that we meet in the flashback are probably going to be very important characters in the present. I wonder what faction they're going to be on later down the line. My chest feels like it's being torn apart. I have no doubt that at some point we're gonna have to kill one of them, or maybe all of them if they're not in the same side as we are. I want to see everyone. I want to go back to Seishu. The smiles of Nanoha and Chinatsu remain burned in the back of my eyelids, and I can still practically smell the scent of the breeze from back then.
踊りたい。レイン、ここから青州学園都市まではどれくらいかかるんだ？
I don't put a lot of what is it, attachment, and I don't really cherish my memories much, guys. I feel like a lot of the things that happen in my memories are not necessarily a lot of happy things. It's mostly sad things. So when I recall my memories, it's usually to, you know, to learn from them, right? To learn from my mistakes. There are times, of course, it's not all sad things, but I feel like the majority of them are mostly sad things. So that's why I don't really think too much about the past. And I don't really understand how someone can recall their memories and be like, damn, I wish I can go back to that time. I never really wish for that. I mean, my life is not really all that strange, but my mom did die when I was 7 years old, so after that point, I feel like my family was really in a more weird spot, right? So, would you say that I was happy before my mom died? I don't know. I was way too young to remember a lot of the details back then, right? Maybe that also plays quite a bit part of it.
またみんなに会いたい。なんで俺はここにいるんだ？みんな青州学園都市にいるんだろ？
それは行かせてやればいい。
Yeah, Suzushiro is probably, or sorry, Seishu is probably demolished or something.
先生、記憶が戻ればこうなることは少尉も分かっていたはずだろう。わかりました。ならばお供します。
Rain answers with an encouraging smile. What did people... I mean, considering it's called Ground Zero, it means that they probably nuked the place, right? That's what I assume.
なあ、やっぱ背広とか着た方がいいのかな。
お前がデート初体験なのは全身でパフォーマンスしたいのなら止めはしない。
Wait, did he say put on a suit? What? What kind of idiot would go on a date with a suit? This guy must have patched me on the shoulder in a bit to cheer and shape me up.
ま、頑張ってこい。うまくいけば彼女とシュミクラム戦の相棒を同時にゲットできるわけだしな。
ああ、頑張ってみる。ってちょっと待て。彼女をゲットって？
おいおい、お前何しに行くんだよ。
I was so excited that the thought had completely slipped my mind. If this date goes well and I get close to Chinatsu,
うわあ、マサ大変だ。渚千夏が俺の彼女になるのか？
はあ、ちょっと頭を冷やしてこいよ。
looks like even Masa can't deal with this. He leaves me and exits the room.
確かにな。
I'm probably gonna end the episode before we get to the actual date, guys. I'm probably gonna do that on the next episode. I guess I can dive for a bit and calm down. I close my eyes and dive into cyberspace.
あ、いけね。
I didn't need to visit Aki's private space now, did I? I looked to leave, but right at that moment, I hear someone call out to me. I turn around and see that girl standing there.
いや、こんにちは。
Talking to her might be a good idea. It'll calm my nerves.
こんにちは。
Kinda messed up there. I met her several times since Aki gave me an account for this place, but we still can't seem to get a conversation going. But
通じなくても意味はわかるんだよね。
she nods her head, almost as if to say, yeah, I do understand. I'd realized over the course of our meetings that she can't exactly be called an ordinary girl. I mean, she shows up here anytime you call for her. I'd rather not believe it, but she might have some kind of illness. Ko, come on, man. It's easier to understand that she's an AI than having, you know, an illness, you idiot. An illness that traps her indoors. Like, with how the world is, Ko, isn't it easier to think that this is an AI considering she doesn't understand how to talk? Even if she is someone who has an illness and only lives indoors, does that mean that her parents aren't going to teach her how to talk? Of course not, you dummy. I remember hearing somewhere that there are lots of kids like that who stay online all the time. If she is one of them, I feel bad for her.
昨日は来れなくてごめん。いろいろあって。
いろいろ？
ついに進級が確定したんだ。おかげで夕方まで補習を受けさせられたけどね。
いろいろ。
That's why I started telling her about my daily life. She pays careful attention to what I'm saying while slipping in somewhat strange responses in between. I mean, talking to this girl probably is sometimes reminding me of when I'm talking to my niece. She might not necessarily understand everything that I'm talking about, but she kind of understands the gist of it, right? Thanks to that, my mood lightens up before I know it.
そうそう。例の千夏って子が仲間になってくれるかもしれないんだ。
ちな
前話した元気な女の子。実は今日は千夏とこれから。
To go on a date with her today is what I mean to say, but I end up hesitating for some reason.
これから？
Why? I have no reason to feel bad about telling a friend that I'm going on a date. All that aside, how do I even feel about Chinatsu? I certainly do find her quite charming. I'm sure being with her would be a lot of fun.
でもそれを言うなら君とこうしてても楽しいわけだし。
You know what I think, Ko? I don't think I'd want to spend any of my time with them, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, guys. As I grow up, I kind of care less about, you know, games like visual novels being a gal game than just trying to understand a good story. Unawares, I start telling her about what's on my mind.
楽しい。
秋音や菜の葉といたって楽しいわけで、それなら友達でいいはずで、彼女にする意味って何なんだろ
I don't know.
なんだろう。
こんなことを疑問に思うのって俺まだ恋愛してないってことなのか
I mean, I've never fallen in love either. The moment I say that out loud, my face starts burning up. What the hell am I blurting about? What the hell am I blurting out?
な。ごめん、今の取り消し。
I'm so embarrassed, I could die. I turned the other way to hide my face, but
ゲリシ
she gets up close to me and peers into my face. Her pink lips look really soft. Oh, being my girlfriend would mean she wouldn't mind kissing or going even further with me. The moment a thought crossed my mind, the girl jumped away from me. Why is she blushing harder than I am? I mean, just like Mother, she can probably understand your thoughts and emotions. Oh, she must have figured out what I was thinking. She's really perceptive, huh? Maybe she can read my mind and figure out what's going through it at any given moment.
ごめん、その。
While I try to figure out how to deal with this, I get a call from the real world.
おいこう、お客さんだぞ。
A visitor?
もう来ちゃったのか。
Oh.
わかった、今行くよ。
Oh, she's the one that comes get me? Wow. Chinatsu's already here. My nerves flare up again and my heart starts racing, so I take a deep breath. I look toward the girl and see that she seems somewhat unhappy.
ごめん。また来るから。また話し相手になってくれよな。
She gives me a big nod with her cheeks still blushing.
じゃあ、行ってきます。
行ってまぎす。
You, why are you doing this? You were saying everything correctly before when you were parroting what I said. Suddenly you're actually putting your own spin into the words.
さて、今日はどこに連れて行ってくれるのかな。
Not today, Chinatsu. With that said, guys, I'm gonna call it an episode right here. But yeah, as I said, Ground Zero, this is kind of giving me like it's probably foreshadowing that that's where Seishu Academy is, right? It's gonna be Ground Zero, so it's probably like nuked or something, is what I'm guessing. But yeah, it's always enjoyable playing this game for some reason because I feel like the pacing of this game is very perfect. For a very old game, I do think that the filler in this game is very non-existent. It's like maybe a couple of dialogues and then that's it. Like, if you take a look at the past couple of playthroughs that I've been doing, a lot of them have been mostly filler, guys, and I kind of hate that. I feel like in this one, there's barely any filler. Like, the character introductions aren't very long. They don't drag out a lot of the weird things or weird dialogue. The explanations aren't very too, you know, too long too. Sometimes there would be some info dumps in games like this, but this one doesn't seem to take long either. Tokyo Necro was one of those games where the info dumps get a bit excessive. Even though it's very interesting, it does get very excessive. This one I feel like makes a perfect balance between most of the things that are going on, and I kind of enjoy that. The gameplay's decent. It doesn't seem like there's too much of it. I actually think it actually is a bit too less, but maybe that's because we're in the flashback mode. Maybe once we're done with all of the flashback and we're in the present timeline, there's gonna be a lot more battles. But yeah, so far it's actually been pretty enjoyable. But okay, as I said, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. YouTube members will be getting these early access but nothing uncensored. And also for people on YouTube that aren't on Patreon just yet, feel free to become a free member because that's gonna be where I put first episode previews of future playthroughs. I keep saying that I'm gonna make an outro, like, you know, animation at some point about all of those stuff that I said, but I kid you not, guys. I'm such a lazy ass person. I prefer to just say everything in one single quick breath rather than having to make animations, having to edit shit out. I'm just that type of person, man. I'm fucking lazy. But okay, without further ado, I will see you guys on the next one. Tomorrow is an Amayui Day. But I guess we'll see. I usually don't really miss out on Amayui, or I don't really miss out on the Patreon selection. Like, you know, Patreon select playthroughs. But I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit, and I'm kind of enjoying Amayui a bit less. So I might actually do more Baldr Sky instead of Amayui tomorrow, and I can just make up the episode for Amayui the next day. Since if you guys don't know, I make 3 episodes for the YouTube episodes or the YouTube visual novel pick, and 2 for the Patreon pick every week. Sometimes if it's something that I really enjoy, I do it more. And usually it's always the Patreon pick that I will do more, but this one is actually being very good. So okay, I'll see you guys on the next one.